Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome back to 365 Analytics. And happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, and as always, we are back picking our NFL games of the week, Thursday afternoon style, and we are officially heading into week 5. We are now rolling into the NFL season. We're already 4 weeks down, kind of crazy. It's already flying by. So much stuff has already happened. So many games already went by, and a lot of stuff has happened already. A lot of storylines to talk about, a lot of games to pick. And we are officially starting bye weeks this week. We have 4 bye weeks this week: Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh. So it's pretty crazy. We've already gone through that many weeks that we're starting bye weeks already. It feels like Dallas versus Philly on opening night was literally just yesterday. But yeah, not much else to say. If you guys do enjoy today's video, please like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications for more videos exactly like this. We have 365 recap on Tuesdays. We have game picks every Thursday. We have miscellaneous videos, TGIFs, everything in between that as well. So let's get right into this. First off, we have to go over our record as always. Last week, there was a tie. There was a tie, so now we have a 1 in our record and 1 at the end of our record. Last week I went 10-5-1. Not as abysmal as I was in weeks 2 and 3. Week 2 and 3, but I went 7-9 both of those weeks. But we went 10-5-1. I started 10-3-1 and then lost both the Monday Night Football games last week. I ended up switching to the Bengals at the end. I picked the Jets as my upset of the week in that loss. So I was a little disheartened with how I ended the week, but that brings our overall record to 36-27-1 on the season, with me being 4-0. We're a perfect 4-0 on our lock of the week, and we are 1-3 on our upset of the week thus far. But never mind that. We need a big week this week. I want a 12-win week at least this week. We haven't had a 12-win week since week 1. It's time for a 12-win week. We want to win our upset of the week. We want to win our lock of the week. Let's roll. Starting off with a great Thursday night football game. It is an NFC West matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. The 49ers, Brock Purdy will not play in this game. Ricky Pearsall will not play in this game. Brandon Ayuk is still in IR. Nick Bosa is done for the year. Jawan Jennings will not play in this game. I mean, they're just banged up. They're banged up, man. Brock Purdy came back last week. They ended up falling to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the final score is 26-21. Liam Cohen's offense outplayed him a little bit. And somehow, even with all the injuries they sustained, losing their best player, in my opinion, Nick Bosa, Christian McCaffrey's playing good football for my fantasy teams. They're 3-1 nonetheless with Kyle Shanahan right now, and they are going on the road to a team that is also 3-1, the Los Angeles Rams, who are coming off a very, very, very thrilling win versus the Indianapolis Colts last week. Tutu Atwell, 88-yard touchdown to take the lead, 27-20, and Matthew Stafford was stellar. Puka Nacua is playing like the best wide receiver in the National Football League right now, really early, but he's an offensive player of the year front runner thus far, I'd say. He's balling. And the Rams look like one of the best teams overall in the National Football League right now. I'm taking them here. I expect them to win this game handedly. The Niners are just so banged up. It's a divisional game. It's a short week. Your quarterback's not playing. It's Mac Jones starting. Mac Jones will make a few mistakes. I don't expect him to be horrible, but I'm taking the better team here. I'm taking the better head coach. I'm taking the better quarterback. I'm taking the better overall roster. And Matthew Stafford with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua is just an absolute cheat code. I expect the Rams to roll here and get a win and go to 4-1 on the season. Next up, we have another international game, this time in London, our first London game of the year at 9:30 Eastern Time on Sunday morning. It is an interconference matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. The Vikings, they're coming off a loss in Ireland last Sunday to the Pittsburgh Steelers. DK Metcalf tore him up. Aaron Rodgers had a very good game. Carson Wentz was not that great. Brian Flores' defense got tore apart, and the Vikings ended up falling in that game. They just could not get anything going offensively, and the Steelers played a better 4 quarters than them. Minnesota, they ended up losing that game, falling to 2-2. As for the Cleveland Browns, they're starting a new guy at quarterback this week. It is Dillon Gabriel, the I believe third round pick, fourth round pick from Oregon. Oregon Ducks starting quarterback last season, the lefty. Previously played at Oklahoma. Kevin Stefanski opting to go with him instead of Joe Flacco this week. Joe Flacco hits the bench. to be quarterback two, and Dylan Gabriel starts this week to see if he can give the Browns a spark. Cleveland lost to Detroit last week. I think it was 34-10. They were competitive for a little while. Joe Flacco threw a few bad interceptions, and Kevin Stefanski ended up going Dylan Gabriel at the end of that game. And he's going to be making his first start on Sunday, international versus a Brian Flores-led defense. And I expect Minnesota to rebound here. They won week one, they lost week two, they won week three, they lost week four, and I expect them to win week five to keep that thing going. Um, a rookie quarterback versus a Brian Flores led defense. I think it's a huge matchup disadvantage for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, for the Cleveland Browns, sorry. Quinshon Judkins does look very good. I expect Jerry Jeudy to get a little bit more involved. I expect the Browns to be better overall and be more competitive, but I think it's gonna be a low scoring, grinded out game with Carson Wentz versus Dylan Gabriel overseas, and the Minnesota Vikings end up coming out away with this one with a win and go to 3-2 on the season. Next up, we start our 1 p.m. slate of games on Sunday. Starting off with an AFC matchup, it is the Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. The Texans, they're coming off a shutout win versus their division rival, the Tennessee Titans, last week. A stellar defensive performance. As we know, they still have a very good defense. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson off the edge, one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and Derek Stingley. They have some dogs on that defense. They can play some football. The offense, it was very, very sluggish through 3 weeks. They couldn't get anything generating offensively. CJ Stroud was just not playing well. Nick Chubb just looks like a fossil. Last week, CJ Stroud played better. Nico Collins got involved, made a few plays. Woody Marks, their running back, rookie running back, started getting more involved, got a little bit of more snap share last week, and took advantage of it by taking a big role. Made a lot of plays in that game. As for the Baltimore Ravens, they're a disaster right now. And I can't believe I'm saying that. I picked them to win the Super Bowl this year. I was fully on that. I picked the Ravens to beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl this year. And Baltimore's they look like a disaster right now. 1-3, dropping a game to the Kansas City Chiefs this past weekend. Patrick Mahomes throws 4 touchdown passes on them, and they're banged up. Lamar Jackson is most likely not going to play in this game. It's not confirmed, but he did not practice today. Nnamdi Madubuike is done for the year. Roquan Smith's banged up. He's out for a few weeks. Marlon Humphrey most likely doesn't play in this game. Ronnie Stanley's banged up. There's injuries everywhere in Baltimore. And if Lamar Jackson doesn't play in this game, I'm taking the Houston Texans, and that's my expectation. I don't think Lamar Jackson plays in this game. If he does, I'll end up switching to the Ravens. I can almost guarantee that. I think Cooper Rush is a good enough backup. A lot of people hate Cooper Rush. I think Cooper Rush is a good enough backup to sustain a close-ish game with the Houston Texans. But if the Houston Texans bring that momentum from last week against the Titans, into this week where their offense is rolling, if they can score even 20 plus points with Cooper Rush on the other side, I think the Texans are going to roll in this game. Nico Collins is going to make some plays without possibly Nate Wiggins too. Marlon Humphrey not playing, Nate Wiggins not playing potentially. Humphrey, Wiggins, Uzier, all banged up. I mean, we could be looking at TJ Tampa and Jair Alexander. I have no clue what's going on in Baltimore now. They're so banged up. And a game where Lamar Jackson is probably going to miss with a hamstring injury. This is the Baltimore Ravens season. If you lose this game, you're going 1-4, and it's going to be very, very tough to climb out of. They do have a cakewalk past the bye, but they have the Rams next week. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But right now, I don't expect Lamar Jackson to play in this game, and I'm going to take the Houston Texans to go to Baltimore and get a win and win their second straight. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins versus the Carolina Panthers. The Dolphins, they're coming off their first win of the year where they beat the New York Jets on this past Monday night. So they're on a 6-day week. They're on a little bit of a short week, but they got some momentum as they're getting their first win of the season. But it was at the cost of their number one wide receiver. Tyreek Hill is out for the season. I expect Jalen Waddle to take on a bigger role and Devon Achane to keep doing what he's doing with the Dolphins. As for the Panthers, they got absolutely kicked around by the New England Patriots last week in Foxborough. Drake May diced them up, had a great passer rating. I think he went 14 for 17. Very, very efficient. Um, yeah, not much really to say about Carolina. Chuba Hubbard's banged up right now. Bryce Young, he had a 30-point shutout versus the Atlanta Falcons, and last week he laid an egg. I don't know. Does Dave Canales make it past this year? I have no clue. I'm taking the Dolphins in this game. I expect them to score more points. These are two teams very unfamiliar with each other. The gist I've got from the Carolina Panthers, so to speak, is they play better against the teams they know. also known as the Atlanta Falcons, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and New Orleans Saints. Teams they play twice a year. Those teams I expect them to play better against. Bryce Young tends to play very good against the Atlanta Falcons, with that being the Carolina Panthers' lone win. I expect Miami to be able to score a lot of points. I expect Miami to score 30 points in this game and get this win pretty handily in a game where in Carolina could be dicey. Who knows? But I think Miami's going to win this game and get their second straight 2-3, and they keep Mike McDaniel's job for a little while at least. Next up, it is an AFC matchup between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts. The Raiders, they've lost three straight now since their week one win against the New England Patriots. Geno Smith's not playing great ball, but Ashton Jeanty did have a little bit of a coming out party last week, had his best game of his career thus far, over 100 yards, had a touchdown. He was stellar, breaking tackles, looking like the Boise State version of Ashton Jeanty. This took a second to get going, but he played well. Their receivers, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, have had some good games this year, so it's not all bad. Max Crosby was wrecking the Bears last week, so do not count them out in this game. As for the Colts, they're coming off their first loss of the season versus the Los Angeles Rams, but not gonna lie, they showed me a lot of confidence. Shane Steichen, Lou Anarumo's defense, they showed me a lot of confidence to say that they're here to stay. They're no fluke. They're no fluke 3-0, and they look good. I mean, Daniel Jones is still playing great. He hasn't been as good in these past 2 weeks as he was the first 2 weeks, but he's still playing great. Jonathan Taylor's looking like one of the best running backs in the league through a few weeks. Michael Pittman's playing well. Josh Downs is still there. They're playing good. They're playing good. I'm gonna take them at home here. I was thinking of picking the Raiders in this game. I'm not gonna lie. I think they could be sneaky, but I just have not seen it from Geno Smith since week one. Matter of fact, when he threw almost 400 yards against the Patriots, I just have not seen it from him, and I don't expect to see it in this game. In Indianapolis, road game. The Colts looked great against the Rams, who I think are a Super Bowl contender, one of the best teams in the league this season. I expect the Colts to win this game at home and go to 4-1 on the season. And then we have a not a good matchup, but a very interesting matchup for game picks wise, because this will be a pretty split one if you ask me. It is an NFC matchup between the New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. The Giants, Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo are now the two most popular men in New York. Malik Neighbors is done for the year. It's a big loss for the New York Giants, one of the best receivers in the National Football League at LSU in 2024. Gruesome injury, man. Sucks. Non-contact at MetLife Stadium. It's just tragic, man. It's tragic to see a guy go out like that. But Giants fans are excited about Jackson Dart. They're excited about Scatterbo. They're both playing great football, and they got their first win of the season last week against the Los Angeles Chargers, stunning Justin Herbert at home in MetLife Stadium. As for the Saints, they were very competitive last week against the Buffalo Bills on Spencer Rattler's birthday. Actually, Spencer Rattler was decent. Jawan Johnson's playing some decent ball through a few weeks. Chris Olave is playing good. Rashid Shaheed's making plays. Alvin Kamara is not what he used to be, but he can still produce, especially in the passing game. Um, they showed me confidence last week. I mean, the Saints, they went toe to toe with the Buffalo Bills for 3 quarters, and the Buffalo Bills just pulled away. Josh Allen did his thing, and they won. But they didn't look horrible last week, and I'm actually gonna pick them this week. I think they're gonna pick up this win in Superdome with the Giants. The Giants, everybody's riding high on the Giants. Everybody likes the Giants right now because the win against the Chargers last week. I think Jackson Dart will be good in this game. I think Cam Scatterable will do his thing. Those are two guys that are here to stay in New York. They're the future of the franchise. But in New Orleans, a game where they showed me confidence last week. Spencer Rattler plays probably his best game of the season. I expect New Orleans to win this game. Still one of the bottom of the barrel teams in the league. Still two of the bottom of the barrel teams in the league, I should say. Both these teams are still bottom of the barrel, but I expect the Saints to get this one in a very close game. I expect it to be a good game, and I think the Saints will end up winning this one in the Superdome. So yeah, give me the Saints. And then we have the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Jets. The Cowboys, they're coming off a 40-40 tie on Sunday Night Football versus Jordan Love, Micah Parsons, and the rest of the Green Bay crew. Dak Prescott's playing some really great football. Dak Prescott's doing his thing. Javonte Williams with Clayton Adams as the new offensive coordinator, run game coordinator, commanding that run game. The Cowboys look like a team that are able to run the ball. And I still haven't seen anything from Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue, rookie running back out of Texas. I'd like to see him be active more. but Javonte Williams is their guy right now. They're including Miles Sanders a little bit. Javonte Williams looked rejuvenated. He tore his ACL, I think it was ACL or Achilles, a few years ago in Denver. Seemed to lose his step, but he come to Dallas. Looks like he's rejuvenated his career, playing some good football. Dak Prescott's playing well. George Pickens was stellar last week. Without CeeDee Lamb, Dallas went toe to toe with the Green Bay Packers in a 40-40 tie on Sunday Night Football. As for the Jets, they're 0-4 right now, but I like Aaron Glenn. I will say that I was critical of Aaron Glenn hire. I didn't like it. I thought Detroit's defense was very inconsistent when he was there, but his players look like they're ready to run through a brick wall for him. I mean, he shows energy. His players show energy for him, and the Jets, they can score points. Justin Fields had a great touchdown run last week. Garrett Wilson's playing some great football. If he had a great quarterback, I mean, Garrett Wilson would be in top 10 talks. But the Jets, they're going in the right direction. As I said, as a lot of other people said, it feels like they're going in the same exact direction that the Detroit Lions were in year one of Dan Campbell in 2021. They're going in the right direction. They play with toughness, they play with grit. But right now, it's just not that time. The Dallas Cowboys are the better team here. They're 1-2-1. I expect them to go to 500 here and get to 2-2-1. Dak Prescott. If the Cowboys were a better football team right now, the bottom line is the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Dak Prescott would be in the MVP conversation. He's playing that good. Even after the injury last year, you can, and I'm a firm believer of this, you can win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott as your quarterback. I believe that. A lot of people don't believe that because they like to hate on the Cowboys, this and that, but I believe you can win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. I'm not saying the Cowboys can win a Super Bowl this year because the rest of the roster, especially the defense right now, the defense is a disaster. I mean, no Micah Parsons anymore. DeMarvion Overshone is still not playing. I mean, it's not good in Dallas right now. Deron Bland still has that 1 year wonder season where he had a ton of pick sixes. He hasn't looked good since then, but give me the Cowboys in this game. I expect them to win this one handedly and get to 2-2-1. And then the last 1 p.m. game, the number one game on CBS this weekend, it is the Denver Broncos going to Lincoln Financial Field to take on the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. The Broncos, they're coming off an absolute beatdown versus this team right here on the hat. We won't mention their name right now, but 20-3 win. I mean, Bo Nix was great. Troy Franklin made some plays. J.K. Dobbins over 100 yards. Denver's first 100-yard rusher in 38 games to be exact. The longest active streak in the NFL snapped. I mean, Nick Benito's doing his thing. Jonathan Cooper's doing his thing. Denver, they got a big win. They got a big rebound win in a game they really needed. And then the Philadelphia Eagles, who are just grinding out wins. They're 4-0, obviously, you're defending Super Bowl champions. Jalen Hurts, the passing, they've been very inconsistent. They had a great passing half in the second half against the Los Angeles Rams a few weeks back. Came versus Tampa Bay and just didn't. I mean, they played a good first half. AJ Brown was a non-factor. Devontae Smith is pretty much a non-factor. Saquon Barkley wasn't great, and Baker Mayfield threw a few long touchdowns. I mean, Baker Mayfield was staying in that game for a long, long time. And if Philly's defense didn't come with a huge interception and win that game, we might be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winners there. But Philly, a win is a win, and Nick Sirianni's crew did that. I think it ends here. I think the Philly undefeated streak ends here. And AJ Brown probably do the thing where he complains for targets and this and that and this and that because they lost as usual. But Philadelphia will be fine, obviously. This just feels like a game to me that Bo Nix and the Broncos will win. They're coming off momentum. This is a team that they see the Chargers lose. They see Kansas City also at 2-2. This is a team that could win a game like this. And Philly hasn't looked perfect. They haven't looked like they did last year in last year's playoff run. They haven't looked perfect. That's the bottom line. And eventually, it's going to come to bite them. And I think this week Denver's going to play just good enough to get the win and get an upset on the road versus the Philadelphia Eagles. So give me the Denver Broncos to go to 3-2 on the season. And then we start the 4 o'clock slate on Sunday. Game one of the 4 o'clock slate is the Tennessee Titans versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Titans, they're winless right now. It's only a matter of time before Brian Callahan kicks the curb and is fired in Tennessee. It might be this week, might be next week, it might be 10 weeks. Who knows? He's not going to make it past the season. Cam Ward, very, very, very animated in the press conference after the game. They just were not good. Their best receiver looks right now looks like Eligai Manor. Calvin Ridley has been a non-factor. I mean, Tony Pollard hasn't played great. They just look like a disaster. Their offense looks sluggish, and it's not really Cam Ward's fault. The offensive line's still not fixed, even with Bill Callahan in full, one of the best offensive line coaches in the league, probably behind Jeff Stoutland in Philadelphia. Um, I don't know. Is this the week they get it right because of Cam Ward and because of how animated he was in that press conference? Who knows? As for the Cardinals, they're coming off Thursday Night Football loss versus the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks dominated for 3.5 quarters, and then Arizona decided to come alive. Marvin Harrison Jr. decided to make plays, and Arizona got it done. Well, they didn't get it done; they lost. But it was 2020. Jason Myers had a game-winning field goal to put the hopes of the Arizona Cardinals to bed. I'm going to take them to get a rebound win here. They lost two in a row versus the 49ers and the Seahawks in division. I think this is a team they're better than. Um, the Cardinals didn't really show me. They didn't show me confidence last week. Kyler Murray, I'm still not seeing it from Kyler Murray. But is there really anything to see? Trey Benson will not play in this game. I think Kyler Murray. This is a game that they're gonna win. They're gonna win. I think. I mean, I could see a Tennessee upset, but they're clearly the better team here. They're playing in Glendale. There's no excuse for this one. They should win this game. And I just think Arizona's clearly better here, and they're gonna win this game at home. And then we have 3-1 versus 3-1, arguably one of the best uniform matchups we have ever seen. If you guys don't know, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're wearing their all white creamsicle uniforms, their white slash orange creamsicle throwback uniforms at Seattle, who are wearing their throwback uniforms at home in Lumen Field for this one. But the Buccaneers, last week losing against the Philadelphia Eagles, where Baker Mayfield made some plays. Bucky Irving was stellar, who will most likely not be playing in this game. Will likely be Rashad White. Still no Mike Evans in this game, so it will be an offensive core of likely Rashad White, Emeka Ibuka, Chris Godwin in his second game back. Sterling Shepard will have a big role. Cade Otton will still have a big role. So that's kind of what you're looking at for Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. Their defense is good. Todd Bowles is a great defensive mind, a head coach. I still don't believe in him as a great head coach, but he's a great defensive mind. And yeah, they're 3-1 right now. Going to Seattle, who Sam Darnold, he surprised me a little bit. I thought he was kind of a Kevin O'Connell merchant. He's came to Clint Kubiak's offense and played well. Kenneth Walker's playing well. I don't expect him to have a great game against the Buccaneers front because they have some dogs up front, aka Vita Vea. Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker are a very good running back duo. JSN is very good. I'd like to see Cooper Kupp get involved. I know he's kind of not washed up, but he's not as good as he used to be. Torrey Horton is a rookie receiver who's been playing decent, making some plays. Devon Witherspoon, one of the best corners in the National Football League. Obviously, I expect Tampa Bay to win this game. Now, I think Tampa Bay will win this game. Um, Eventually, it has to end for Seattle. I think Tampa Bay's clearly better. I shouldn't say clearly, but I think they're the better. I think they're the better team. I think they're the more perennial contender in the NFL. I just can't see Seattle going 4-1. I can't right now. I think that Tampa Bay's defense will eventually get the win here. In Seattle could be tough. I could see Seattle being sneaky here. I like Mike McDonald. I've said that a million times on this channel. I'm a huge fan of him. But I think the Bucks win this game. I think they're the better team. I think Baker Mayfield grits it out, does enough to end up getting the win and go to 4-1 on the season, while Seattle drops to 3-2. Next up, that's really it. That's really all I got to say about this. Um, I mean, I guess I'll debrief it real quick. The Lions, they're firing on all cylinders on offense, coming off three straight wins. They're 3-1 right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown, multiple touchdowns last week. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are beasts offensively. One of the best offensive lines in the National Football League. Gritty head coach. Yeah, they're a Super Bowl contender. They look back, and I can't say anything but good about them right now. The Bengals fire Zach Taylor. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. 2 weeks in a row they quit. One time being on national television versus the Denver Broncos. I have nothing else to say about Cincinnati Bengals at this time. I said everything I needed to say yesterday, and It's a disaster. Detroit's going to win this game probably by 30 points, so they feel like they did the last 2 weeks. It's a disaster in Cincinnati right now. On to the next. We have America's Game of the Week on Fox. Burkhardt and Brady on the call. It is the Washington Commanders, likely with Jaden Daniels back. He practiced in full today, so we'll see what ends up happening there. Versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Commanders. They're coming off a loss versus the Atlanta Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium last week, where, I mean, they scored points. I think they had 27 points in the game. Chris Rodriguez made a few plays. Washington seems like they're deciding to use Chris Rodriguez, Bill Krosky Merritt, and Jeremy McNichols all together. Still no Terry McLaurin, so they're banged up right now. That's the bottom line. They're banged up right now. Their receivers right now, Luke McCaffrey, Debo Samuel. So those are the guys that are gonna have to make plays for them right now. Marcus Mariota stepped in, went 1-1. That's about what you can ask him to do. Like that's why you have a good backup like that, a guy that can step in and win you some football games. But he was competitive in both games, 1-1 in those games. So can't say really anything bad, but yeah, they're 2-2 right now. As for the Chargers, they're coming off their first loss of the season versus the New York Giants, 3-1. Justin Herbert was not great last week. Quentin Johnston, though, I mean, what back can you say about him right now? He's making plays. The receiver out of TCU, I think he was drafted 2022. He had a rocky start to his career, a bunch of drops, just wasn't good route running, and he looked like a huge bust. And they drafted him before Zay Flowers, one pick before Zay Flowers, I think actually, and he's coming on strong. Lad McConkey still has not showed up this season. Omarion Hampton had his coming out party, so to speak, last week against the Giants, over 100 yards, touchdown. But I'm actually going to take Washington here, but that's if Jaden Daniels plays. If Jaden Daniels doesn't play, this is going to go to the Chargers easily. Um, I expect Jaden Daniels to come back, have zero limitations, be good. Washington's 2-2. They go 2-3. It kind of gets a little rocky. It's like Dallas. If you go to 2-3 and Dallas is 2-1, it's very, very close in the NFC East race. Philly's still to clear it out, favorite there, but this is a game I think Washington has the upper hand in. I mean, we saw the Chargers win the first 3 games versus their division rivals and then come back versus the Giants and lay a dud on the road. They come back home. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. I think this game could go either way. This should be a very good game. Should be a very close game versus Daniels and Herbert, and it'll be interesting to see who ends up coming out away with this one with a win. It would be a big win for either team. So, yeah, this one I'm going to take Washington. I expect Jaden Daniels to play, and I expect them to win this game in LA. On Sunday Night Football, we have an AFC East matchup between the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. The Patriots, they're coming off a shellacking win against the Carolina Panthers. They won 42-13. Drake May was great. Stephon Diggs over 100 yards. Can't really say anything bad. Hunter Henry played well. Austin Hooper had a big screen catch. I mean, they look good right now. They look like a good team. Drake May's playing very, very efficient, and he looks like New England's guy of the future. And no one really had any doubts about that. I had no doubts about that. I had confidence in Drake May, but he looks like a guy. He looks like a guy right now, to say the least. As for the Buffalo Bills, they're at home this game wearing the winter whiteout rivalry uniforms. The Buffalo Bills are asking their fans to conduct a whiteout. They expect the fans to wear all white. Should be a great atmosphere on Sunday Night Football in Buffalo. If Philly ends up losing in the 1 o'clock window, this will be the last undefeated team in the National Football League, and I expect that to keep going. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I consider the Patriots in this game. I did. I think the Patriots will get them once. I do. I think the Patriots will end up splitting with them at the end of the year. They play again in week 15. I look for the schedule. They play again in week 15. Buffalo's 4-0 right now. Josh Allen's playing great football. This game's in Buffalo. This is not the it's a whiteout game in Buffalo. October, first game in October. They're undefeated right now. I don't expect Buffalo to lose this game. I was heavily, heavily considering New England Patriots here because I think they'll get them once. And I was like, ew, New England's coming off a big blowout win. Do they end up winning this game? But I'm gonna take Buffalo in this game. That's not a knock on New England. I just think Buffalo's a better team here. They're at home. I do think New England will get them later in the year. I think New England will end up getting them later in the year. But right now, I just see Buffalo rolling. They got Atlanta on prime time next weekend or next Monday night, I should say. But I expect Buffalo to get this game, but do not be surprised if the New England Patriots steal this one. I was thinking about taking the Patriots in this game. I was heavily considering it, but give me the Bills to win this game. And capping off the week, it's an AFC matchup on Monday Night Football. It is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chiefs, they're coming off two straight wins versus the Giants and Ravens last week, absolutely killing the Ravens 37-20. Lamar Jackson ended up going out about when the first quarter started. Patrick Mahomes, four-touchdown pass. Xavier Worthy, a good game. Tyquan Thornton, a guy who was looking to revive his career after the disaster that happened in New England, kind of coming onto the scene, being a good target for Patrick Mahomes. Only a matter of weeks until Rashee Rice ends up coming back. I think it's week 7. So 2 weeks until Rashee Rice steps back on the field. I have him in 2 fantasy leagues. Yeah, they're back. I'm telling you, when the Chiefs started 0-2, I did not call it over. I had confidence in them still. I still think they would do things, and they're 2-2 right now. Going to the 3-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. Liam Cohen, he's doing work, and they're 3-1 right now without Trevor Lawrence playing like Trevor Lawrence should. He was the number one overall pick out of Clemson. He was getting Peyton Manning comparisons. That's the bottom line. He's still not playing as good as he should be. Travis Etienne's tearing it up. Bashal Tutin's a very good 1-2 punch. Travis Etienne. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. hasn't really even emerged this season, and they are still 3-1. Doesn't really even add up to me. I don't know how it's happened. Travis Hunter still there. He needs to make some more plays, and the bottom line is 3-1 is 3-1. Do I expect them to win this game? No, I expect Kansas City. More experience on the road, prime time. I just expect Kansas City to live up to the moment a little bit better. Patrick Mahomes, way more experience. Andy Reid versus the rookie head coach. I expect Andy Reid to win the coaching battle. I still have confidence in Jacksonville. I picked them to go 10-7 before the year started. I predicted Liam Cohen. I think I predicted Liam Cohen to win Coach of the Year. I predicted Liam Cohen to win Coach of the Year, I think. Or maybe second in the race. He was one of my considerations, but I still think Jacksonville will be very good. I think they'll be 10-7, like I predicted, around that ballpark. But this game, I expect Kansas City to win. I expect them to go on the road in prime time and end up winning this game. And there are your picks. My lock being Detroit over Cincinnati. I know, I'm walking against my own team. It's literally insane, but my upset being Denver over Philadelphia. I can't believe I'm picking against my own team in a lock format. Are you kidding me? What has my life come to with the Cincinnati Bengals? Jesus. But to recap real quick before we go into the power rankings, Rams, Vikings, Houston, Dolphins, Colts, Saints, Dallas, Denver, Arizona, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Washington, Buffalo, and KC. With there being 4 buys this week, only 14 games. And yeah, let's have a hell of a week. That's all I gotta say. Hopefully we can do good this week. We need a huge week. We need like a 12, 13 win week to get the morale up a little bit here because it's not going that well right now. Um, but yeah, those are the game picks. And real quick, we'll hop into the power rankings before we log off. So yeah, here are the power rankings. And here are the week 5 power rankings to cap off today's video. Philly, Buffalo, Detroit cap out the top 3 as they did last week. Rams go up 1 spot from 5 to 4 with the win over the Indianapolis Colts. Chiefs at 5. They go up 8 spots. Green Bay at 6. Tampa Bay at 7. Indianapolis at 11. They only dropped 1. Both those teams only dropped 1. Jacksonville, huge jump with the win over the undefeated 49ers. They go +9. They're in the top 10 now. Seattle +4 with the win on Thursday. They're in the top 10. Chargers dropped 1 spot out of the top 10, -7. Denver, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, they go up 10 spots. I didn't really want to put them up that high. I know it's kind of crazy to put them up that high, but they have to be above Washington. That's the bottom line. They have to be above Washington because they just beat them. And that's kind of the spot I think was a sweet spot. Beating them, they beat Minnesota a few weeks back. So it's been there. And now Washington, Dallas, Minnesota, they go down 7 with the loss to Pittsburgh. 49ers go down 6. Cardinals go down 2. A couple NFC West teams right there. New England, they sneak in that top 20 right now, but if they beat Buffalo, they might be closer to the top 10. They're going to be up a lot, a lot, a lot. They end up beating Buffalo. Chicago at 21 -2. Baltimore falls 13 spots to number 22 with the loss to Kansas City. That loss was kind of a snap. Like that was a snap. We have to watch the Baltimore Ravens right now, and we have to watch if they can revive this season because Not looking good right now. Houston, one spot above them. These two teams play this week. Giants go up 6 spots with the win over the undefeated Chargers. Raiders stay the exact same in the midst of everything. Miami goes up 2. Panthers down 4. Jets up 1. Cleveland, they go down 3 with a loss to Detroit 29. At number 30, we have this team. This team right here. Down 10 spots with a disastrous Monday Night Football game. The Saints actually go up 1 spot. They're above number 32 for the first time this season. They were very, very competitive with the Buffalo Bills and Tennessee with the way they're playing right now. They're clearly playing worse than the Saints right now at number 32. A shutout loss over the Houston Texans, and they're number 32 to cap off the power rankings. And yeah, that's it. That's it for week 5. Week five's video, so to speak. Week five's coming up starting tomorrow when I'm recording this. I record this on Wednesday nights usually. It's Wednesday night right now. Um, it's two ants on my wall right there. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, that's gonna do it for tonight's video. If you guys did enjoy, please like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos exactly like this one. And I'll see y'all next time. Go Bengals, even though they're gonna get destroyed this weekend. Go Bengals. Let's have a great weekend of football. See y'all later.